Hey guys, it's Immortal, also known as G-Man, coming to you with a great new mini-series called GPU Battleground. And pretty much what this mini-series is going to be about is me comparing two different graphics cards, one from ATI and one from Nvidia, and putting them head to head and seeing which one breaks through with the best FPS benchmarks and cooling and everything about it. It's going to be pretty awesome, and it's going to be really informative because I've really had trouble picking out a graphics card, and really that makes your gaming PC. So I really wanted to help people out with this. Now at the beginning of this video I said Immortal. That's my new screen name. I'm going to go by Immortal Resistor. You will be hearing my name called G-Man many times. My friends call me that, and so don't get any ideas of me changing my name, because it's not changing. I'm just making a more YouTube friendly screen name, and people have actually been getting confused with G-Man from Half-Life 2 and probably Half-Life 1. I've never played the game before, so I don't plan on it. From the 2001 graphics I've seen, I don't really want to play that game. It looks kind of strange. So I've seen some videos on it, and that guy scares the crap out of me, that G-Man guy. So don't want to deal with him. But so moving on to the mini-series, definitely going to be exciting. And today I'm really talking about CPUs and GPUs in general, and Nvidia versus ATI. I'm not going into specific cards, but just the general brand. Alright guys, so I want to make this clear right away. These two companies, Intel and AMD, are very close competitors, and they're both great products, and I just want to make it clear that I am not biased in any way, and I'm going to try and make this as factual as I can so you can make the better decision on your gaming PC. So first off, I'm going to start talking about Intel. They're in their third generation of CPUs. They got the i3, i5, i7, and whatever's lower than that, I think the Pentium 2, whatever they got down there. Anything above an i3 should be good for gaming. Anything under that really isn't going to cut it for these games these days, because, for example, Crysis 2. Crysis 3 is coming out soon, and the graphics really are high standards, so you gotta go something about over the i3, most likely, just because you want to be future proof. CPU is something that is not easily replaceable because they are really expensive, and it takes a lot of work to replace that. So that's the one thing you want to make sure that you're set for a while. So just some facts on the third generation i5 and i7 and i3 and all those. They have different chipsets, which are kind of they're programming the brains and everything that makes it run. They have the Z77, which is the one I am getting on my i5, 3570K. I'll talk about the K in a second. And then there's also the X79. The X79 is a little bit better than the Z77. It is more expensive, but if you decide to go in that route, you will be very pleased with it. It's very good. The i5 3570K is the processor I'm buying, and it's supposedly very good. You can overclock it, which is the K. Overclocking is really helpful, and pretty much what it does is it takes the factory standards and it pushes it beyond that limit, and it makes it better. It also creates a lot of heat, so cooling is really essential. So make sure you get a good heat sink for your not PS3. What am I talking about? PC. That's really important. The i5 also has quad core, so that's actually four cores, four different sections of the processor actually doing work. So if you have a 3.5 gigahertz processor and it's quad core, each of those cores is going to be doing 3.5 gigahertz. So that's a really powerful processor. Also the i7, I believe the highest one, the Extreme Edition, that has 6 cores. I want to say 6 cores. so that's really good, and you can overclock that to like 4.8. So that's really expensive though. I think that's over $1,000 just for the processor. I wouldn't go that route unless you're like super hardcore gamer. You have to play like every game on max settings and have 5 games open at once. There's probably people that do that, but I'm not gonna judge them. So the i5 3570K is gonna run you about through $230, I believe. Yeah, 230. Intel in general is more expensive than AMD. It is better than multitasking just because the architecture is a little bit better, and it has better drivers and more support, and it's constantly getting updated. And yeah, it's a pretty good company. Now moving on to AMD. AMD is a really good company. I'm not gonna trash them today, just because AMD was in the lead for a long time. They had pretty dang good processors and graphics cards, and they did it the whole works. But to this day, Intel is kind of leading them. They have a little bit better processor, not just because they are advancing quicker and they have new architecture, but the AMD FX 8150, it doesn't use 8 cores. It says 8 cores on it, but they actually aren't physical cores. They're just digital cores. So it's not really doing the work it's thinking, or they make you believe that it's doing. So there's something to keep in mind. It uses the bulldozer architecture. It's somewhat outdated just compared to the new 3rd generation Intel processors, so just also keep that in mind. Some of the FX processors can be overclocked. I believe there's a Black Edition and a quad core, 6 core, and the 8 core. Those can be overclocked, and they're really good processors. They're just a little bit on the cheaper end, and the drivers aren't as good as Intel's. Now, this is probably one of the most important parts of this mini-series, and it's the GPU, which is a graphics processing unit. And pretty much what it does is it renders out your 3D graphics on your computer. It also works for different things like YouTube, also video games, movies, etc. And it's really important that you don't go skimpy on your graphics card, especially if you're building a gaming PC. I kind of made that mistake with some of my older computers. I would buy a $80 Nvidia GT100 when those were out, or whatever the old one was. I got that, and it didn't really work with my CPU whatsoever. And really what that does is it bottlenecks it, which I'm going to put a picture up here. If you look at the top of the water bottle, it's a really small end. And then imagine the GPU, the graphics card, being the big part of the water bottle. If the CPU is the part you put your mouth on, wherever you drink the water from, I don't know what it's called, but that's the CPU. It's going to be working together really out of sync, and whatever's coming out of that water bottle is going to be really bad, and pretty much all that money you put in your graphics card is going to be a waste because it's not going to do the work it's supposed to. So really focus on trying to keep a really good CPU as well as a really good graphics card, because you just can't go skimpy on those things. So first I'm going to talk about ATI graphics cards. You can think of it as AMD's graphics card line. It's not the same company, but they're kind of on the same side of just like budgeting and pricing, and you just imagine there's a big price difference between Nvidia and ATI, and ATI is really similar to AMD's price range. So first of all, ATI has a thing called stream processors, and that really determines the speed of the graphics card. For example, the AMD Radeon HD 7850 has 1024 stream processors. This runs for about $220 on Newegg. It's a really good graphics card. It's one of their top graphics cards that they have out at the moment. There are better graphics cards run by ATI, and they kind of switch depending on whether or not it's a reference card or a non-reference card. And what that means is reference, for example, Asus, Sapphire, EVGA, all these companies that make the graphics cards have cooling units and different components that they add to these ATI cards and Nvidia cards that make them unique to their company and make them really distinguish their own brand. And certain brands make better quality components and accessories that they add onto it. For example, the one I'm looking at right now is a Sapphire. It's got dual fans, which is really good cooling. There's triple fan, there's a single fan, there's an enclosed fan which has a cover over the top. Some of the older ones have open and they don't have a very big fan. I have like an inch by an inch fan on mine, which is really bad. That's been sitting in the closet for several years now. I don't think it's going to be used in any computer anytime soon. So I better leave that in the closet. Just to point that out, that was an Nvidia something like $50, really bad. Don't get that. AMD and ATI, they have this thing called CrossFire, which is very similar to SLI, if you know what that is. What it does is you can use several graphics cards, I believe up to 4. Certain motherboards can handle 4, but for the most part people are going to use 2, possibly 3 graphics cards, and what it does is it splits up the work between the graphics cards to use the screen, and it makes cooling a lot easier, and it stays at lower temperatures, and essentially it makes your game go a lot faster and loads faster, which is great for gamers because every 2 FPS difference, there's always 100 complaints about the game, and then they start breaking discs. And it sounds like Black Ops, but I'm not gonna argue. So, Nvidia, they have similar things to the stream processors. It's called CUDA cores. They're measured differently. I'm sure they have their own algorithms and all that. But the more expensive one, the GTX 570, is $280. It only has 480 CUDA cores compared to the 220 AMD, or ATI, excuse me, that has over 1,000. So the measurement is a lot different, and that really, you can't go off of that. You have to compare like the brand and then the reference cards, cooling, dual monitor support, HDMI support. There's so many factors. It's just ridiculous. Just massive lists of things. Each graphics card has a certain amount of RAM on it. Most high-end have 1 to 4 gigabytes. The 4 gigabyte ones are usually a lot more expensive, but they usually run GDDR5, which is way better than the triple channel RAM that you usually find in your computer. So that's really exciting. A lot of the GTX brand graphics cards have 320-bit RAM, which is really good. It can usually run over $100 for 8 gigs of the 320. The price may have gone down, but RAM is kind of expensive with the higher end RAM sticks, so that's good to have it built in. And that also takes off the stress of using the RAM in your computer, so you can use that for other things, such as like 50 games at once. Also, Nvidia has a thing called SLI, which is very similar. It's almost identical to CrossFire. It's a little bit better, in my opinion. I'm trying not to be biased, but SLI really works better with the graphics cards, and it keeps them cooler. Works a lot faster, and usually are more compatible. You have to have the same exact graphics card, like the exact same model, for them to work together. You can have 2 graphics cards in there that are different, It's just that it'll only run one at a time, and that's kind of a pain in the butt and a waste of a lot of money. If you plan on doing that SLI, make sure you plan ahead that you're not buying a card that's about to go out of date and they'll never sell again. I'm sure you can find it on like Craigslist or some kind of like sketchy rapist website, but I wouldn't suggest buying an older, like, out of date card. Alright guys, that wraps up our first video of GPU Battleground. If you guys watched through that entire 15-16 minute video, I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it was informative. I really want to help everyone out because it's a really tough field to find information in, and it's really something you need to invest your time in and find more information on before you put all that money into your computer, because of all the graphics getting better and more complex. You really want to put your money where it will help you the most. So if you guys enjoyed this, please leave us feedback, and we'll keep making videos and keep making stuff that you guys like, as well as really fun videos. Look out for DayZ. I'm gonna be doing a lot of that. Guild Wars 2, Crisis, Just Cause 2, all those great games. We're gonna be doing that in full HD very soon. So to everyone, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and leave your feedback. Alright, thanks guys.